Hey, it's Connor from the Browser Company. I'm heading to New York. There are huge things going on right now, and I've got to be there. Let's go.
Let me set the scene. Browser Co. is post-Series B. We're building something huge. That's why I'm in New York, and we're hiring. I gotta get a coffee. All right, our people team asked us to do this. They've asked us to make a video to bring you behind the scenes about what it's like to build Arc, who builds Arc, and kind of where we're taking it. Some of your favorite videos on our channel are these deep dive technical conversations, and so that's what we're doing right now. Along with my colleague Tara, we're gonna talk to 3 different engineers about 3 times they've radically transformed Arc for the better. Is this working?
Is my camera okay?
This is a long couch.
It's a very long couch.
I don't even know if we can say this. We'll bleep it if we need to.
Josh messaged me and was like, I wish you didn't show me this.
There were a lot that didn't work.
We're sharing all of this with you because if it sounds interesting, we'd love your help.
Browser Company of New York. You all have seen this part. Sorry, Michelle, I'm gonna steal these stickers. Here's a stained glass Arc logo. I think Seb made this. This is my favorite spot. Oh, hey, Hirsch.
So first we're gonna talk with Nate Parrott, who, among other things, is the reason that Arc exists in Swift in the first place. Here we go. What do you do here?
What would you say you do here?
I'm technically a designer, and I have a couple reports who work with me. And right now I'm on this crew called Internet Explorers, which is a kitschy name we came up with that we're not supposed to use. But basically we're doing exploratory prototyping. We take ideas that we have for what a browser of the future might look like, and we just prototype them in really quick and dirty ways. What lives at the intersection of what is compelling from a product perspective, what are real needs that we can solve for people, and then what is technically possible, knowing the web, knowing browsers, knowing
also knowing
technology.
All of the LLM stuff that's come out.
I mean, people hear AI and they think it can do everything, right? They think it can read your mind, they think it can intuit what you want to do next. And so a lot of what we've been doing is trying to figure out okay, what is this actually good for? What is it actually useful for? It's an exciting new technology and it can't do everything, but let's figure it out. What are the great unsolved problems that are just newly becoming solvable?
You were actually the reason that Arc became an app written in Swift, if I remember the Browser Company lore correctly.
I think so. I feel like we would have got there eventually.
We would have eventually, but my understanding is you were actually on vacation.
I mean, this is what I do on vacation. So I was with my family. This was 2020, right? So it was peak COVID. We weren't going anywhere. We were in the Berkshires, which I recommend if you want to get a lot of focused work on your computer done. We had this Electron version of the browser. It was okay, but it was a little slow. There were some weird things that sort of impinged on our design.
I actually tested that browser.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think I was user ID number 4
and you
for
gave
that.
great feedback.
I explicitly said this is terribly slow.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was really bad. And it just didn't feel good in a lot of ways. Animations were kind of choppy, you'd hover over something and it would take a bit to respond. I think it took a couple days, and I had a really simple prototype with a couple features in there, and I just used the system web view.
Yeah.
And we had a browser, and I remember I just kind of dropped it in Slack. And Josh messaged me and was like, I wish you didn't show me this, because now we have to go rewrite it all because it's so much faster and so much better. Yeah, this is it. This is the one that the first prototype of Arc on Swift that I made in the Berkshires.
All right, let's open it up and see. I like the frowny face.
I love the icon.
The frowny face icon is great. Okay. Here we go.
Ooh, everything's
sidebar?
small.
Everything is tiny.
I like the little hovery sidebar.
Animation. It's smooth.
We should bring that. It's not that smooth. Does it load?
It loads.
It loads. It works.
Look at that fat
wow,
icon.
look at that. I actually like the borderless view. I know everyone on Reddit likes our borderless view that we used to have.
Let's make a list. Let's call it Nate's list.
Yeah, these were the original spaces. Wow, look at that. Let's perform it. You can only imagine what the Electron version must have been like.
Oh, I used
to
it.
be this is better.
A lot of our company DNA comes from folks with mobile backgrounds, and so I actually think that was a critical moment to be able to hire engineers that had coming from iOS or maybe Mac OS background with Swift, but it really opened up our candidate pool quite a bit.
Yeah, and I was always super impressed with how everyone who was currently on the team who had joined with the promise of writing JavaScript and all this stuff, was like, yeah, cool. I'm totally down to learn this weird new language and this app kit, which is like how you write native Mac apps, which is this weird thing that nobody knows. And they all just like kind of went and did it really quickly, and it was very cool.
Offsites. This is New York, Portugal. We don't yet have Montreal up there. Montreal will be up there soon. Hey everyone.
Hi, I'm Tara, and I'm also a product engineering manager at the Browser Company of New York. I work out of our New York-based office, but we're actually a remote-first company, and we have people all over the world. So today, I'm speaking with Rosey, who works out of Los Angeles. Hi, Rosey.
Hi.
I wanted to start out by talking with you about some of our work on AI, specifically including ArcMax.
This incredible new thing I have to show to you today, called ArcMax.
That was a super transformational moment for Arc and the Browser Company. And I think everybody was watching to see what we were going to do and how we were going to show up and how we were going to leverage AI. Maybe we'll start off with a fun question. What's your favorite ArcMax feature if you have to pick a favorite?
I think my favorite would have to be tidy tabs.
I love the broom so much. It like feels really like Maria Kondo to just clean up my tabs at the push of a button.
Yeah, there was some controversy over the broom.
What was the controversy?
Well, we tried a couple different broom icons and people didn't think it looked like a broom. People couldn't tell it was a broom. So we picked a more broomy broom to use, and now it's that.
Let's go way back and talk about, what did development on ArcMax look like? How did you start?
It was a really small team at first. Nate, Patrick, me, and then Nathan. I really hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but we built a ton of prototypes and we noticed a lot of positive feedback for features that didn't require the user to do anything new. For renaming your pin tab, you're not doing any new behavior. You're just pinning tabs, and then it's a moment of delight and surprise that we've renamed your tab something nice.
I'm curious to hear maybe a prototype you could talk about that we didn't end up shipping.
There were a lot that didn't work. One really out there one. This was something Patrick built, I think. So you would initiate a research session, and we would have Archie pop up, kind of like Microsoft Clippy, and you could drag stuff into its mouth and we would collate all that information for you and create a research report for your research session. We thought that would be really cool, but turns out some of these things people they don't necessarily want.
What is the importance of trying stuff that doesn't work to you?
We're trying to build something new, things that people haven't seen before. We're trying to be creative. I feel like if we just talk and talk and talk about what people want and need from a browser, we'd probably end up with more boring ideas, more obvious ideas. There's nothing like having something in front of you to play around with and to see how your behavior changes over time, or if it doesn't.
It's this push and pull where we'll have crazy ideas, but we're really quick to call it a bad one. Maybe it was not the right time.
And just scrap it and move on.
Scrap it and move on.
On to the next.
Okay, we're here.
Cheers.
We need to chat.
Arc on Windows came earlier this year, and you led that project. That was a journey.
Journey's understatement. It was like a science experiment where we thought, can we take this Apple-developed language and integrate it with a Windows-specific UI system?
Yeah.
And we just didn't know that it was going to be possible.
I remember like the first command bar demo.
Yeah.
And if people actually see a screenshot, they're like, it's just boxes or whatever. But I remember it was like monumental that we could actually get it to work.
That first UI, we got it on screen. I added a drop shadow, and then we also added an animation. And all of a sudden, I was just tabbing, and the box was expanding and contracting, and I thought, oh, it's real. It's alive.
Yeah. It's almost like you started with like, not to be cliche, but like you started with what could be, right? Yeah,
right.
And then you kind of worked from there.
Assuming we can get there, just start with what could be. Assume we are able to bring Arc to Windows. At the end of the day, it's all just code. It's all machine. Anything's possible. It's just how long is it going to take? We knew that if we buckled down and we hired the right people, we spent the right amount of time on it, and we had the right wherewithal to push through all of the doubt, we would be able to make it happen. And we did.
You did. That's amazing. How many years of experience did you have before you joined the company?
Like, not that much, right?
And you've been transformational. Like, you've changed the trajectory of the company single-handedly. And so I'm curious, like, do you have a message to anyone who's maybe earlier on in their career, curious about joining a startup or like having impact in a similar way that you did, going from a bigger company to a smaller company, and how you can navigate that?
One of the first things that I took away from leaving big tech and going somewhere smaller was you have a lot more control of your own destiny when all of the internet is in your hands. Working at Meta, I felt like everything was in-house. All of the questions were built in-house. There was a question service in-house. There was an in-house fabricator that we used for code reviews. Everything was kind of insular in the company. And then I arrived at a startup and I felt like all of a sudden my eyes were open to the tech industry for the first time. And I feel like there are very few chances in your entire career that you can get your hands on something so transformational.
And everyone uses the internet.
Right.
And so there's such an opportunity there that like the upside is almost unbounded.
We're very lucky that we get to work on something so interesting.
Where do you think we'll be in 6 months from a product perspective?
The next question, the next big boss, as Josh Miller would say, is how do we go from where we are to 100 million different people? And I think the product that appeals to 100 million people, it might be for a different flavor of the same product that we have now.
What do you think BCNY will look like in a year?
I feel like a year is forever in startup time. My hope is that we have our new product out there, the new hotness that we're all talking about that you haven't seen. It'll be out there and people will like it and it will be popular. Yeah, that's my hope.
Working on this big, ambitious thing. It's kind of like a do or die. We're gonna see what happens with this thing.
What's it called? Okay.
And so we're really trying to explore, like, what does it look like to have a computer that's a little bit closer to like the Star Trek computer that everyone talks about, where you just talk to it and you tell it what you want and it goes and does it by interacting with the internet.
Tell me the location of Commander data.
And so what we're building, ideally, is not a tool for opening web pages. It is just the best tool for people to get things done.